There is an ongoing dispute as to whether religion should be taught in public schools. The divide lies between the law, that separates church and state, and religious groups who feel that some type of moral upbringing is necessary in schools. The biggest problems that both sides face and has led to controversy are the arguments regarding separation of church and state. The First Amendment in the Bill of Rights talks about freedom of speech and freedom of religion. In the relationship between man and religion, the state must be firmly committed to a position of neutrality. After research, we came up with the conclusion that public schools should have a religion class as an elective. There are different reasons why this will help upcoming generations. First, in order to have a better world where people can live their lives without living with fear of being discriminated by their culture, traditions, or religion. First, people should learn more about the societies that exist in the world. If they start to learn more about it, they will learn to respect other cultures and different religions. One of the biggest concerns that the parents have about this is that their children might get influenced by this teaching and change the way they think. Or in some cases, they could change their religion itself. Also, teachers are concerned about this topic. Teachers represent the state, and focusing on one religion will be considered unconstitutional and they might lose their job. Next, we have a video about a school in California that for several years they were using a textbook called Across the Centuries that focused a lot in the Islam tradition, and it brought a great impact on the students, and some of them changed their religion.
The 7th grade textbook entitled Across the Centuries has outright propaganda for Islam. For example, it says that Islam is what has liberated women and given them equal rights. It also cites Jerusalem as the city where Muhammad rose to heaven, and that was in our textbooks, influencing a lot of youth, including the American who eventually went to Afghanistan to fight for the Taliban. They're also instructed to memorize scriptures from the Quran. That impacts their grade. To memorize chants to Allah, to repetitive chants to Allah, and then also to sing songs to Allah.
The problem with this textbook is that it focuses a lot in Muslim religion, and it could bring troubles to the schools because some parents might not agree with this type of textbook because it could affect their children's beliefs. If students have teachers with a very extended background knowledge about religion, they will be able to understand other religions. A good example of this is Modesto School District in California.
Those 3 R's, reading, writing, and arithmetic, but one school district in California has added another one. Religion. As John Blackstone explains, the curriculum is unique, but the lessons are universal.
Modesto is becoming more religiously diverse. But unlike any other place, religion is a required course in high school here.
We can't preach, but we can
teach. Using teach, don't preach as her motto, Yvonne Taylor guides the World Religions course at Johansen High.
And now we're going to go west to the Middle East, and we'll be taking a look at focusing on Judaism, Christianity, and Islam.
Now, some people might think, well, why taking religion is so important anyways? People should realize that about 70% of all discriminations is because of religion. One of the main reasons of this problem is that most people happen to be ignorant and they only say what they've heard from others, and they don't know anything about other religions.
Author of Religious Literacy, believes Modesto should be a model for the country because America is paying a price for knowing little about the world's religions.
Religious illiteracy is a political problem. It imperils our democracy at home, and it puts to a huge test our ability to conduct foreign policy overseas. What's going on in Iraq, what's going on in Iran, what's going on in Burma, these are religious people acting for religious reasons.
Stephen Prothero, the author of Religious Literacy, also argues that the United States is one of the most religious countries in the world, yet most of the Americans know almost nothing about religion. There are also other consequences about this. The only ones suffering are the children, the students who have to pay for the mistakes and the ignorance of others, most of the times their own parents and the government itself. Here is an example of a kid who has lived discrimination on its most horrendous levels throughout an entire school year. This had a great impact on her life, in changing from the girl it used to be to now a whole woman who knows what people in society is capable of in the late 21st century. Here is Nicole's story.
In America, where most everyone is a believer, what happens if you don't believe? Well, one girl found that can be very difficult.
Then came basketball season.
But at the first game, everything changed because after the game, the girls gathered to recite the Lord's Prayer.
I didn't think they had religion in sport, but when it came to basketball, they would pray before and after practices. They would pray during games. You know, praying was a tradition for them, and that's what they said.
So did you say, no, I'm an atheist, I won't do that?
Well, I told the coach, I was like, oh, I don't believe in God, I'm an atheist. So he's like, well, go to the locker room then.
91% of the United States population believes in a supreme being. Only 6% does not believe. The rest is just unsure.
The relationship with the other kids changed.
Yeah.
Students called her names, she says.
You know, they would call me devil worshiper. I'd walk down halls, people would laugh at me. They would look at me really weird and stare me down.
Then she says teachers joined in.
What would they say?
This is a Christian country, and if you don't like it, get out.
This is why it is so important to have a religion-elected course in public schools. This way fights discrimination and many world problems could be avoided. Here there are some interviews about different students from Johansen High School and religious leaders showing their viewpoints about religion and public education.
It's good to learn what I am and they clear the misconceptions that they have about me.
Probably the best thing that I learned would be how to respect the cultures and the religions and what they believe.
I was actually really glad that people were learning who I am and what I'm about and what I do.
We know about each other, more friendly, you know, we are going to be.
This is a very good thing in my opinion.
The results of our survey demonstrated that most people think that having a religion course in a public school would change future generations' behavior. 66.7% of the people answered yes, compared to an 11.1% who said no, and a 22.2% who is unsure. There are some who believe that if a religion course will be implemented, it will have a positive effect in our society. If done and everything goes as planned, the upcoming generations could change the way politics and religion rule and the barrier between them. That way, they can comprehend and go along with many religions without any problems. That would make a new step in the process of evolution, and everyone could profess their own religion without fear of molestation.
That is why we should bring religion classes to our public schools. In the United States, there are over 313 different religions, and people can mention at least 10 of them. We will become a better society if we start to know more about our neighbor and be able to understand other people and communicate better with one another.
The purpose of this is to bring society together because we are living in a diverse country where everyone is equal and they have the same right to express themselves.